All right. So tying out what you were asking, but better questions, in my opinion. Probably terrible questions. How would you approach, or not, how do you approach? What's your mindset when it comes to loving yourself?
So you're talking about the pathways in your brain and how you like train them over the years. And most people train them over the years as what their parents told them about themselves or what their friends told them about themselves. And I honestly just did never listen to it. And I think I don't remember hearing anything about myself as I was homeschooled. So I truly didn't have to be in a situation where I felt like an outcast. I just always was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the only person I had to fend for was myself. And I think I'm really trying not to say when I think or I think.
Yeah, because she doesn't do that.
It starts with what you tell yourself all day long. And I was never put in a position where a problem came to me and I was unable to figure out how to solve it. It might not have been the best way to, but I'd have to MacGyver it around, and either like physically or intellectually. And so I really think it was a cool, as much as difficult as my childhood was, it taught me to be so independent and self-reliant that I didn't have a choice to have self-worth.
Interesting.
I would get into these relationships, like my relationships with men haven't always been wonderful, or good or great, or but I did have to hear about myself through their eyes. And it took me a long time to understand that the perception that they have of me is not the perception
you have of yourself,
that I have of myself, or who I am, because they're dealing with their own insecurities and their own problems, their own, realities and the perceptions of the world that I have nothing to do with. Yeah. And I do think that I am a difficult person to be with.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I have really, really high standards, and
Oh no, I wasn't worried by the standards, just in general.
I agree, because I think I require more out of people than they're used to.
And that's what makes you great. That's why you're on here.
Right, thanks.
Yeah, let me just get the average person and just degrade them. Yeah. No, it's like you're not on here because I thought you were just some other person who's an NPC. No, I thought you were different. So that's what I was like, hey, that's cool. Plus you came up to me and I was like, wait, you actually like the podcast? You want to be on it?
I know. I was not expecting that at all. But I am a private person in general, which I don't think is a pro per se. I think there's a lot that you can gain from opening yourself up and being vulnerable in ways that I never have. And so it's been like a really interesting journey.
By yourself as in like being alone or being lonely?
No, I by myself as in like the people that I want to share things with, I'll share, not like this, like a platform, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I, there's naysayers and people that I've done wrong in the past, and I totally get it. But everyone has skeletons in their closet, and I'm never going to deny that.
Yeah.
And I will never deny what I've done to people. Like, I have not always been the person that I enjoy.
Do you still have that trouble today? Or in like last couple? No?
I don't think so. I think I had a really hard time being honest.
With yourself?
With people, because I just don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I don't want to hurt anybody. And I would like get in these traps of just being stuck in the situation and just like, how do you best get out of it? And the best way to get out of it is just to be honest, and not in terrible, painful ways, but like, hey, this just clearly isn't working for either of us, or it's not working. It doesn't even have to be for either of us. It just isn't working for me. And I don't think ill of, and you didn't do anything wrong, but like for me, this isn't how I want to go about anything.
So it's both you have the commitment on the things that you want to commit to, but you also have the ability to let go of the things that you don't want anymore. Right. Because what was good isn't good anymore.
And that is about loving yourself.
Is there a problem with people who use loving themselves as an excuse to avoid the responsibilities that they have?
For sure. There is narcissism. And I think that narcissism is falsely idolizing yourself, right? I don't think they actually love. The reason that they are the way they are is because they don't have love for themselves. So I think there's the spectrums of it again. You have to find that balance and be like, oh, well, and that leans towards more of a narcissistic way of thinking to like avoid responsibility because you think so highly of yourself.
Yeah. Did you ever have that mindset?
No, I just always had like my empathy for people and situations has, I think, definitely grown over the years, but I've always had it. And I've always felt bad, hurting anything. Yeah, I think that's shifted a lot in the most recent years.
What would you say is the biggest thing that kind of started that change?
The lifestyle change. It was like, who wants to live like this anymore? Why do you want to wake up every day like just dreading, dreading the next day immediately? I was with somebody who like would wake up and it was as soon as his feet hit the ground, it was like we started complaining. Yeah. And I can't live like that anymore. We spoke about this off the pod, but I love complaining. I think it's a stress reliever. I think it brings people together. I don't think it's a great way to I don't mean anything I say. I say it because it's fun and it's like it helps people relate to you. And if you like complain about the same things together, it's like we're bonding, right?
Is it possible that there's a threshold where complaining too much becomes the problem itself?
Yes. Complaining in general is like not, I don't love it, as a entity. I love doing it because it can be really fun.
Did you start doing the complaining as a means of communication when you were trying to understand other people? It's that you didn't know that how to actually like communicate the problem, but rather just complaining about it now.
Oh, passive aggression for sure. Yeah. It kind of works. Which is kind of like it's the consequence of it is like it works. And then people are like, oh, now we have to do this thing to, solve the issue.
Do you want to stop complaining or is it just a way of life for you now?
I complain is exactly how much I mean to complain.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a regulation for it.
Yeah, for sure.
A regulator, not a regulation.
Yeah. And there's days where, I definitely mean it more than other days. Like when, you have the time of month and like, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But so there's like hormonal fluctuations and like mental, but for the most part, I don't have anything to complain about.
I'm the same way because I don't have anything to complain about. There's no reason why I shouldn't be getting stuff done today. There shouldn't be a reason. Like I'm in probably the best health I'll ever be in my entire life. Why not ruin it as much as I can and get as least amount of sleep as I can?
That's why you're not in the best health of your life, and you will be eventually. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about it right now. Right now, you are capable of just bypassing being healthy because you're young.
Because I don't have any excuses. Yeah. People say, "Oh well, I don't have everything lined up." No, you just choose not to. Especially people my age, I hate it so much. It's like you're capable of so much, but you choose not to do it, and it's like, why? I
wish I could have this conversation with 21-year-old me. Yeah. It's frustrating. I'm glad that I have it with you. Like, I'm glad that somebody is on the right path. Thank God.
One person.
It's too late for me.
Yeah. I don't think it's too late.
At 21. Yeah.
I mean, after 25, yeah, the brain solidifies and everything. But I don't think anyone's incapable of changing. It's just the longer, like I said earlier, the longer it takes for something, the longer you practice something, the longer it is to unpractice it, to remove it from the brain. And it sucks. Especially the stuff that's really bad, because I'm still racist. I'm still the most, like, look, if there's anything from the first part that's not going to be...
I'm not allowed to be, all right?
Conversationally, I love it when people are like, it's just like, that's for me, that's bonding.
Oh, our dark humor, for sure.
For me, when I was younger, that's how I bonded with people, because I didn't know how, because everyone else was different. Yeah, that too. But everyone else was different. Everyone else was like, what would get you to laugh? What would get you to smile? What would get you to enjoy being around me? No one wanted to be around me, but that's not the point. Like that was my form of communication. So that's interesting how mine is like humor, but like bad humor. Yours is complaining.
Oh, mine's also humor. But I like to push the envelope. Like, I think you can get, I like kind of use every stage that I'm on in my life legitimately, like in public. I'm like, this is my new stand-up routine. You know what I mean? How many people can I make laugh with? And you can kind of tell if people are like dark humor people, or if they're like complainer people, or if they're like hype up people,
or just NPCs,
or just NPCs. And like, I don't waste my time with them.
If you were to look back, because that ties into like identity, to how do you see yourself and the way you want to be seen to the world. If you were to look back at you in your early 20s to mid 20s to late 20s to now, would you say, what kind of identity did you have, and how do you think you've been able to solidify the best parts of you?
I was just the chaos creator. Yeah. And I just always wanted everyone to have the best time. And that would include, going out to places that weren't like maybe the safest place to go, but it was like the coolest time. It was like the coolest place to be at the time.
Like bars and stuff?
Just, yeah, like dance clubs in DC with like 3 girlfriends who were completely hammered out of our minds. Like just chasing each other around dance clubs. And it's just not, and that created a lot of trauma. And for myself, and I know other people, but like in the moment, I was like, we're just having a great time. And it was fun for an hour.
Is that because you were homeschooled?
I think I was just escaping. Like, I think I was just trying to find
the world that you weren't exposed to?
I think I've always known I'm a little weird and different and autistic. And like I got diagnosed with ADHD at 5, and I was just like always on the run. And my parents were like constantly just trying to catch up. And giving me more things to do. And like my parents truly they did the best that they could. And with a very high energy, high drive all the time, like cannot stop, no breaks, all go. And they try to channel that into everything they could possibly think of. Like I had a very cool childhood. It was just interpersonally, there are 2 people that just were trying to figure out their own lives as well. And I like do not envy the situation. And I'm so grateful for the relationship that we've been able to like repair. So I don't want to like deny that at all. But I also really was not educationally inclined for a long time until recently. And I'm like, now I really want to learn everything. I never want to stop learning. And then I had all my like public school friends who I was just desperate to be that cool. Like I wore sweater vests. You know what I mean? Like what 9-year-old?
I don't know what those are.
Like a literal sweater vest. I'm looking it up. A sweater vest.
I know what a sweater is. I know what a vest is. I don't know what like a crop top?
No. Like a sweater vest.
Is that supposed to look cool or something?
No, it's like I was like a freaking nerd. You know what I mean?
What?
So
I'm so confused.
I was like a homeschooled horse girl.
So?
And I just like all my friends were like wearing Abercrombie and Fitch and like super cool. And they all played soccer, and they all like broke their legs every summer, so they couldn't do anything. And I was like, and I look back and I was like, I was actually the cool girl.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry for them. What low standard?
I know. It's like I was the one that was the outer box thinker. I had I had this really cool experience that nobody else had. I had all these horses. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, I just wish I had a pony," And it was like I was like the dirt bike rider, and like I did everything. And that wasn't cool to me then. And it was like to try to fit in to these people who were just boring.
It's hard to appreciate where you are until you look back and it becomes a memory.
I'm still the cool girl, Like,
well, of course, we know that.
I just like I can accept that now, and it's not like,
and your intelligence is going up, so it's like cool and intelligent.
And like it's crazy.
It's terrible.
It is terrible for everyone else for sure.
You, Dave, and Zach, best people to put on the front lines of World War III.
I agree. I'll talk us out of it.
And you'll talk out of it. Dave's just going to be like, listen. And then Zach's just going to be like, all right, I got
finally.
What's the biggest hurdle that you have when you became a mother?
I wasn't good at it. I never...
no one's good when they first start.
No, exactly. But I was also 19. when I had him. And then I was 20 a month later. And my ex-husband like deployed pretty quickly after I don't even think he was home for a day. I really don't remember the timeline of it. But he was gone, and Mason was 4 pounds, and I was like juggling trying to like the Marine Corps and postpartum. I never researched what pregnant, like I just was pregnant, and this is kind of the overall theme of my life is like lack of research. And so I didn't know what postpartum depression was. I never really had dealt with depression before. I never, and the truth is like so much of depression is like the choices you make in life. And the choice I made was to get married at 19, have a child at 19, and like now I have a deployed husband, and I'm stuck at home, like not even knowing how to care for a baby. And I'm like, I'm just trying to keep this thing alive. And you know what I mean?
Well, it's the life that you live is the earned reality that you got.
Yeah. And it was, I had a really hard time bonding with him because I just didn't know what I was doing. And he was in the hospital for 6 weeks, like after he was born, because he was born in 2 pounds. I was like, it was just such, and then I had to go through a move because then, we lost that house and I was alone, and I like moved into a trailer park, and I was like, I don't know how to do any of this. Thank God I have my parents. But
So what's the biggest hurdle that you had for that? The biggest, like the point where you were like, I need to start fixing myself, or I need to start changing some stuff around so that I can actually take care of him the proper way.
I think the biggest hurdle was how long it took for me to get there, like mentally, and be like, hey, I need to ask for somebody for help. And then the help was, oh, we'll just throw you on Prozac. Well, that doesn't work. I had like a total mental breakdown because of the side effects of Prozac. And then they're like, oh, because of that, like you have like manic rapid cycle bipolar. And it's like, no, I don't. I have ADHD. But the two wasn't tied in together. And then like you find yourself on this whole rigmarole of, psychiatric medication that you don't even need. It's making you more insane. And then you're also trying to balance out like taking care of something that's like, you need to sleep, but then you need to wake up, and then you need to, and it's like, and I just felt it was such an out of body experience, honestly, for years. And then it just hits you one day, and you're like, okay, can we like get back to earth?
Yeah. How old were you when that happened?
Probably 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a good
5
4
years.
years.
Yeah. I got in a fight with my mom, and I went and lived in my car for like what are we, like with my dog, and Mason was at his dad's house, and it was just like that kid's been through. I can't wait for him to get on a podcast when he's old enough and be like, "Goalie girl," But I think the nice thing about children and is that they are so willing to forgive. They're like, okay, well, like it's okay. Like I have screamed at my child before, and that's not who I am, and I never thought that, but like I did, and then I was like, I am so sorry. It will never happen again. It never has happened again. And he's like, sorry, thanks for apologizing. And it's like, no, you are like, of course I'm apologizing. That is not, it's crazy.
That's fascinating.
It is. Having kids is like it's the biggest thing to break you into like the person you're supposed to be.
Yeah. That's why a lot
of people should not have kids.
That's why when I have kids, I'm going to make sure I'm actually stable.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not.
Because they're human. It's their first time on earth, and you're their first and only guidance. Like if you're not guiding them, they're going to make mistakes. And the only thing you can do is support and, redirect. Because they feel terrible. They feel worse than we do for making mistakes, because we've made thousands of mistakes at this point, and they've made 3. You know what I mean? It's like, they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to spill the milk. So when you just like freak out on them, they're like, Jesus.
Yeah. Are you happy with who you are now?
I am very happy. Yeah. Yeah. I am very happy. I've worked really hard to get here, and I'm not going to deny myself that work. And I'm only ever going to continue working. There's no stopping once you start.
Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently after Mason was born?
Everything. But I'm glad that it is where like I am. If I were to have another child, it would be a completely different situation.
Yeah, well, you've learned a lot. Yeah.
So different.
Of course, it'd be kind of weird that Mason's 13
Yeah.
and the child's like,
But he's, I'm not gonna, God has a plan and I don't know what that plan is. And I'm not upset either way. Like I'm super, super pleased and happy with what I have.
let me know if this is too personal. Why'd you get tattoos? You don't have to talk about it.
No. It's not personal at all. It's just, so every single one of them has, most of them have a meaning. That like this one was my first horse that died and was like this is like the funniest. I had a horse when I was 16. He broke his leg and it was like my best friend in the entire world. We grew up together. I like could do anything with him. I slept in his stall, like, and as a homeschool child, like your horses were kind of your only friends, right? So his show name was Worthy Opponent, which I've kind of like lived by. I always want to be a worthy opponent, kind of anywhere I go. And then this one was my sister.
Simba.
Yeah, my sister was huge into Lion King when we were kids. Still is, I'm sure. And so we got Simba Link tattoos. And then I have a lyric of a song that I heard at a very like low point in my life, called Night Minds by Missy Higgins. So that was like special. And then when my friend Henry committed suicide, another girl, Kirsten, and I got matching tattoos that said "Never a victim, forever a fighter." And then there's others that had a meaning in the moment and don't. I just think that I've always kind of had the edge that I thought tattoos were like cool for. And I'm not into, like, yeah, I would get them removed if someone would just pay for it. Yeah.
But why go through the pain of getting a tattoo?
I don't think they hurt that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have the biggest tattoo, so.
Yeah, right.
I love it.
I'm glad.
Yeah. It's like you had to get ink on you. I already came with it. It came with my owner's manual. Do you have any questions?
Not right now.
No.
I asked all my questions.
I know.
Finding questions to ask. That's the hardest part. I don't know how you do it.
I think, well, so what I did is I just have notes. I just have general things I wanted to ask.
What's the next one?
Well, there was loving yourself, biggest hurdle, motherhood. I was going to ask the lessons that you learned in hookup culture.
Oh, yeah.
But,
okay. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Those are really important.
Okay.
I think it's melting brains. But I also like, yeah, the hookup culture. It's like, it is horrible.
Yeah.
It really is. It's so detrimental to self-worth and in the name of freedom and expression and like all of this. And it's like, but you don't know, like the sex to me is the most intimate and not intimate thing you can do with somebody else. Like, yeah. It can be the most beautiful and boring time of your entire life.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like, it's gross. It really is. And it's a waste of time and you can use that time to, better yourself. And I think the amount of times that I look back and I'm not ashamed of it, but I really just wish I had spent my time on something better and different for myself. Like nothing good came out of it.
Oh, poor Mason.
No, I was married. It was not a hookup.
I'm kidding.
You attach yourself to people who don't deserve to be attached to you. And that would have been proven had you just waited one fucking second and gotten to know somebody or avoided doing that activity that caused you to do it in the first place.
It takes a long time to get that self-worth, but also the determination is not the right word. To
repair the damage is
ego and pride back. Because it's like you're just like the greatest thing that your mind, your brain, your body is supposed to do is done. Is like, wait, you're not
with who?
It's like you're not sustaining this.
You just kind of become the person that gets called at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, I'm not lonely. People are calling me at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But you're going. Like, you're not lonely, and then you're still going.
I don't know what that.
know.
I don't know what that would be like.
It's yeah, it's really. I'm very happy to be out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and it's the norm. That's like, it is weird to be any other way. It is weird not to be on the apps. It is weird to not like go out to the bar and get drunk and then be like, haha, look at this dude I, hooked up with last night. It's like, it's weird to be on the outside of it. It's weird to have been in it, and it's super weird to be on the outside of it, because I see it and I'm like, don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, it is not, and I'm not speaking for every single human being on the planet, but like it's so painful to watch girls go through it.
And what's your opinion on loneliness and the fear of abandonment?
Oh, I don't have it. So, but I used to, for sure. I used to, and we talked about this on the last podcast, like this idea of begging somebody to stay in your life. And it's, I would rather just not do that. So I don't care who leaves.
But what about that like internal feeling of just being, like, you go home and there's no one there to say hi to you. There's
Thank God. Yeah, and I travel as much as I can for that feeling. Yeah, because I get to go to a hotel and just like be like, I don't have dogs barking, and I live with my parents, with my son, and I absolutely like, and that won't change until a next chapter in my life changes. There's no reason for me to be a single mom of a teenage boy living alone by myself in an apartment downtown. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So like, safety wise, security wise. So yeah, I beg for those days. But I don't think there's people who get those days frequently should appreciate them while they have them, because there will be somebody who comes into your life and changes that for you one day.
Yeah, for good or for bad.
I hope for good, yeah. But like, you will change and you will learn those lessons, and like, then you will never have to feel that way again. Hopeful, you know what I mean? Ideally. So if you just wait for the right person who is at the standard, that meets the standards that you have. And if they don't, then you leave them. Like, just immediately. Do not waste another second.
Would you say at this point you just respect yourself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Did you always have that respect?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No. And the more that you do it, the less respect that you have for yourself. And the more you have to convince yourself that you're being empowering.
That makes sense.
And the more that you're trying to convince yourself that you are something, the less of that you are.
You say that you're smart all the time.
Yeah.
The more you say it, the less it is. Uh-oh.
The more that you're like, oh, this is so empowering. Hooking up with this, like, sex is so freeing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it can be with the right person, but not with that dude you met at the club last night that like has done the same thing to 3 women this week. And then we have are we, dating the same dude pages all over the place. And it's like, every single dude you post is like a fucking loser. Why are you even giving this man an ounce of your time?
So is there a level of emotional maturity that's required?
Yes. And most people don't get there because they don't want to put the work in, and they don't want to admit that they're wrong, and they don't want to admit that their lifestyle isn't working for them, and they don't want to admit that they're depressed, and they don't want to admit, and depression stems, obviously there's like the chemical imbalance side of it, but like, if you're living a depressing life, you're going to be depressed. You don't have a choice. That's how your brain works. Like, if you don't want to be depressed, you have to go find something that, even if it's like 3 minutes a day, go find something that gets you up for 3 minutes and is like, this is not the most depressing thing I've done all day. Yeah. Nobody's going to save you.
There's one image when you said that, popped in my mind. It's of someone who's like a fighter, and they have the boxing gloves and everything. They're sweating. They've got blood running down their face and everything. They're like completely like broken down. And there's the visual that right behind the person is 4 people of the same person, his past supporting him. It's not that other people are going to be supporting him, but rather who he was and who he wants to be is there for him. Yeah. So it's not about requiring other people to support him, but rather supporting himself because it's the best thing to do.
I think if you continue making the same mistakes, there's nothing for your younger self to be proud of. So I am, as much as I like want to shake 21-year-old me, I know she's like the first person on my sidelines, like cheering me on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I am the person that I wanted to be then and just did not have the ability to. Didn't have the experiences or the lessons or the knowledge that I have now to be. Is there anything about hookup culture that you like? I don't want to say admire, but like you think that there's any pros to hookup culture?
I don't think so. I just don't understand it. It's a world because it's something I'm not interested in. I don't think about it at all. It's like I don't want to smoke. I'm not going to think about smoking or vaping. I would see other people having like nicotine patches. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not going to do that. What's the next thing I have to do on my list?
Yeah, it is kind of insane that we're like, we talked about this last time too, that I like actively got rid of all the vices I had last year, like the ones I had left. And to be dependent upon anything to get through a single day is kind of insane.
Which is fine. I mean, people will live their lives the way they want to. Like hookup culture, cool. Pros and cons, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not the world.
Oh, I'm not telling anybody not to like learn the lessons you need to learn. But like if
there's better ways of learning
it, you know, and I used to, smoke a pack a day. I used to drink way just entirely too much, and waste so much money on just going out and like not even having a good time and waking up, completely confused and missing half of the night. And, and it's like, what, you spent $200 to forget things? That's what what are we doing? And then drive home? What are we doing?
So $200 can get a lot of McDonald's. That's another way to forget things.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is too personal, but what would be your ideal man?
I don't know.
Ideal not as in perfect man, but the person that you would be like, these are all the things that are required to get checked off.
I don't know.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. It's
well, you
good.
said you wanted to marry your best friend.
I do. And I think kindness, compassion, empathy, intelligence, like common sense is the most important. I don't want to have to mother you. Yeah. I don't want to have to teach you how to do everything. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to go do my thing during the day. You don't have to worry about me. Like there's no insecurity here. We trust each other. I'm just going to go do my thing when I want to do it, live my life how I want to live it. And I would love if you came along when I want you to, and vice versa. And no hard feelings. And like the ability to just like communicate, like a flowing communication is really important.
What about the kind of...
I would honestly prefer them being a father already at this point.
They wouldn't have to, you don't have to worry about all the problems that they don't know.
Like a good father, like one that I can witness seeing how he is with his own kids. I think that's a huge telltale sign of who somebody is. How active they are in their kids' lives. What if they're going to show up at every single game? I want you to show up at every single game. I want your kids to be your priority. Yeah.
That's cool.
I want, health and fitness and wellness to, kind of take priority. I really, at the end of the day, just need somebody who doesn't have a lot of depression issues. Somebody who's like comfortable. And I want to date a me, but a man.
That's going to be really hard to do.
I know.
I don't think there's many of you in the world.
I know.
How long have we been doing this?
It's 45
minutes. That was a long 45 minutes. Did it feel short for you?
No.
Okay. Mostly because I'm
exhausted. Do you just want to do these like two mini series, part 1, part 2 mini series?
Like every week?
No.
Like,
not with that attitude.
Every week? What?
No, just for this
yeah, I'm going to split into 2.
Yeah.
Not that like 1 wouldn't work. It's just 2 would be easier to understand.
Do you think that you could even know what your type of woman is right now?
Oh, no. I realized the last couple weeks that I'm not looking for the perfect woman anymore.
Yeah.
I'm looking for someone who understands my standards and is not going to also hold herself to the same standards I do. And by transitive property, she's going to be the same person I'm looking for. But I also know that like I can see it. If I don't see it, that's it. I've lost interest. If I see it, but she turns out to be something else, I've lost interest. If I see it, she's something else, and I'm not in a position to be able to provide, to support, to have the resources available, I'm not going to go for it. Even if she's perfect, everything's checked out. If I'm not capable of it,
the timing isn't correct as well.
Yeah, that's what sucks. It's like I wish I could just be like, all right, women, here I come. But it's not going to work because guess what? I don't have that. I can't support myself.
It's fascinating to get to this point where I'm not seeking anything. You know, I'm just like living my best life by myself. And like when a person comes along, I have the space available for them to show me if we're if you're supposed to be the person that God sent for me. But I'm also like not afraid to just like I don't have control over that switch anymore. Like it just gets flipped and that's it. You know, I'm not going to turn it back on. It's over.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to waste anybody's time. And I don't think anything's wrong with anybody, especially like if I find myself giving time to this person, like I do believe that they are wonderful, good human beings, that they're just not for me.
Yeah, I've wasted so much time on people who say they're going to do something and never actually do it. Yeah. And I'm like, why did I waste my time on this person?
Friends and relationships, especially friends, honestly.
Yeah. More friends than anything else. I'm like, hey, you have this ambition. I want to see you succeed in it. Oh, it was just that. It was just words, not any actual ambition. It's like, okay. And if I see people who do have the ambition, I'll be happy to help. But some people, they say they want to do it, but then they want you to do the work for them and be like, okay, let me spoon feed it into you. I'm like, I'm not going to spoon feed it. If you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. If you want the technical side of it, I'll try to help you with that. So at this point, it's like, I want someone that I can help, but I also don't want a whole lot of work to put into them. Am I going to find that person at my age? Probably not.
Yeah, so. They're not doing any work on themselves usually, so.
Well, that's why I want to find that unicorn. I just need to find one. I don't need, assuming nothing goes bad, but I should be able to spot that out by now. If I don't, then that sucks on my part. Have you ever thought that you would be single for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. Yeah. I don't think that's in human nature anyway. I don't think that's possible. But yeah, I would totally be happy.
Well, you've already had a kid, so it's like,
yeah, I'm like my biological use is over. Would I love to have a herd of children? Absolutely.
A herd of children.
I love kids.
There's a herd of children.
I mean, like
a herd
10?
of 10? Holy moly! I feel so bad for this guy. I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna do what I want, but these 10 kids, it's your responsibility.
It's just like because it grows like one by one. I'm not like, hey, can we adopt 10 kids right now? At this, no. But first of all, 10 kids is like so
months.
Out of the world. No.
90 months.
No. 10 kids is out
Actually,
of
81 technically if you include your current one. So 81 months, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm just saying, I love kids. Wow. So it'd be cool to like, even if I like, he just has kids, that'd be like, well, please, you know, but like being single the rest of my life, totally fine.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know where to go with that. I mean, if you want to, I don't
think you can put a number on
amount of time. That's true. I do want to go outside though.
Okay, let's go outside.
Now?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go for a walk.
All right, end a podcast. That's it. No handshake. Oh, fine.
We did it.
Your camera's on the side.
I know. I already gave a thumbs up to that one though.